Also new tonight, the family of a woman who died by domestic violence accuses Metro Police of deeply disturbing negligence that got her killed.
Today, the attorney for Michaela Carter's family released the 911 call, where you hear her plead for police to come back just after they left, and then you hear her get shot.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
He's here. He's here. He's outside.
Who is outside, Michaela?
My ex. We're protection against him.
What's going on? Michaela, what's happening?
He just shot her. Hurry up.
What happened? Where is she shot?
I can't tell, please.
Not to play that moment, but the attorney says he is horrified by what he heard, including what he calls the dispatcher's shocking rudeness.
A mother on the phone with 911, trembling, panicked, and trying to explain the unexplainable. Her daughter's estranged husband, a man she feared, a man they had an active order of protection against, was outside with a gun. But the dispatcher's questions kept coming. Did you see him yourself? Are you sure? What is he wearing? How do you know he has a gun? It was a conversation filled with fear, but also with something far more sinister. A system that wanted details more than it wanted to act. On that call was 24-year-old Michaela Carter, a woman who had done every single thing that victims are told will keep them alive. She got the protective order. She made reports. She tried to leave. She stayed in contact with police. And on this night, she called for help. Minutes later, she would be dead. This is not a story about a sudden explosion of violence. It is the final chapter of a tragedy that unfolded over years, a slow burn of intimidation, coercion, and warnings that were ignored. And the man stalking her door wasn't a stranger. He was someone she once trusted. Someone she met as a teenager. Someone the system kept releasing. His name was James Leggett, and on this night, he came prepared for one thing. As the 911 call fades, picture it. A quiet Antioch neighborhood. A single porch light. A mother and daughter whispering into a phone, trying to stay alive long enough for officers to return. Police had already been there once that evening. They saw the danger, and they left. Tonight, we walk through the story they left behind. The story of a woman who followed the rules, a family who begged for help, and a killer who understood exactly how breakable those rules were. Michaela Jane Carter was born on November 23, 1996, in Bowling Green, Kentucky. To her mother, Kimberly Jones, she wasn't just the oldest child, she was the backbone of the family. Responsible, kind, quietly strong. She helped her younger siblings with schoolwork, eased arguments before they grew, and carried a natural warmth that drew people in. When the family moved to Antioch, Tennessee, Michaela blossomed. In high school, she ran track, volunteered, sang in church choir, and built a reputation for being genuine and dependable, the kind of person who makes everyone feel at ease. After school, she worked at the popular 1230 Club in downtown Nashville. Even on the hardest nights, she smiled, laughed, and made guests feel welcome. She dreamed of helping people, especially young women. She wanted to build something meaningful. But the person she'd fallen in love with years earlier would become the force that slowly dismantled her peace. Their relationship began the way many young relationships do. Harmless glances, mutual friends, small talk. By 2010, they were officially together. But behind the smiles, something darker was growing. James's attention quickly turned into monitoring. His protection became isolation. His questions turned into accusations. His affection into control. Friends and family noticed the shift. But Michaela, young and loyal, didn't yet recognize the warning signs. Meanwhile, James's life spiraled. Between 2013 and 2017, he collected felony convictions, burglary, robbery, drugs, and by law was barred from owning a gun. Yet by 2020, he had access to one anyway. During a violent confrontation with his parents, James grabbed his father's revolver, pointed it at his mother, and stormed out. The gun was never reported stolen. That same gun would later take Michaela's life. One warning after another was ignored. After bouncing in and out of jail, James begged for another chance. "I've changed. I'll do better." Against her family's urging, Michaela believed him because people like her want to believe the best in others. In late 2020, married him. But marriage only intensified his control. He monitored her phone, restricted contact with her family, destroyed her belongings, used drugs, paced the home for hours, accusing her of things she didn't do. The violence escalated. One night he struck her in the face with a Jack Daniels bottle. She fled to her mother's house, bruised and sobbing. That night she shared a heartbreaking truth. She had tried to overdose months earlier because she believed it was the only escape. The next morning, she filed charges and sought an order of protection. For a brief moment, it seemed she was breaking free. But the system wasn't built for women running from men like him. When she was required to identify her abuser in person in court, she panicked. Her fear was treated like failure. The charges were dismissed. Eventually, she secured a full order of protection, no contact, no firearms. But a piece of paper can't stop a man who already ignores the law. By November 2021, James had been released yet again, this time after a probation violation. He shouldn't have been out. He shouldn't have had a gun. But he was free and armed and spiraling. His Facebook posts that morning were full of threats, apologies, and cryptic lines like, "Today is the day. Someone with nothing to lose won't care." He began texting and calling Michaela, violating the protection order over and over. She told her mother she felt something coming. That evening, she was right. Around 6 p.m., Michaela and her mother saw James outside a relative's apartment. He had a gun. They did exactly what victims are told to do. They called 911. Police arrived quickly, but their response ended there. Although he matched the description, although he had a violent history, although there was a protective order, although he had a gun, police said they didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. No body cameras were activated. No lethality assessment performed. No emergency protective measures taken. They simply escorted Michaela and her mother home, checked the yard, and left. Before leaving, a trainee officer told her, "If you see him again, try to get a photo." For a woman being hunted, that wasn't protection. It was preparation. Minutes after officers pulled away, Michaela began packing a small bag. Her backpack, a few clothes, and the folded copy of her protective order. She planned to leave for the night. But before she could get out the door, she saw him. James was walking toward the house with the gun visible in his hand. Michaela ran inside, shouting, "Mama, he's here!" What happened next unfolded in seconds. Her mother tried to take the photo police asked for. Her phone slipped from her hands. Twice. Michaela called 911 herself, her voice quiet, terrified. The dispatcher continued asking procedural questions. Has he tried to choke her before? Where exactly is he? Do you see the weapon now? During those questions, the door splintered. Footsteps. A shout. Gunfire. Michaela whispered, "Help me, Lord." Those were her last recorded words. Within minutes of police leaving, James kicked in the door and opened fire. Michaela was shot multiple times.
Behind bars tonight after Metro Police say he kicked in a door before shooting his ex-girlfriend and her father. Police arrested him, 27-year-old James Leggett. They say after he emerged from a wooded area near the home in Antioch following the shooting. Officers say that this man shot his ex-girlfriend in both the chest and the leg and her father in the hand and face. Police say the woman, Michaela Carter, is in extremely critical condition tonight.
She was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries were too severe. She died hours later, just 8 days before her 25th birthday. News spread quickly. Nashville was outraged. Headlines said, "She did everything right because she had." Behind the scenes, investigations revealed a shocking level of negligence. Officers violated domestic violence protocols. No required assessments were completed. No body cameras were used. The scene was not secured. The threat was not properly documented. Punishment? A 2-day suspension for one officer. A written reprimand for the trainee. No terminations. No major consequences. Her mother, Kimberly, refused to stay silent. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit. She spoke publicly. We were failed tremendously. Her case drew national attention, and for the first time, city officials openly admitted fault. In 2024, Nashville approved a $250,000 settlement, the legal maximum, but more importantly, they implemented critical reforms. Mandatory body camera use on all domestic violence calls, required on-scene victim support resources, automatic BOLO alerts for any protective order violation, strengthened domestic violence response protocols. Councilwoman Joyce Stiles said, "The officer who failed this woman should not still be employed." But the reforms came too late for Michaela. While awaiting trial for first-degree murder, James Leggett was held at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution. On July 4th, 2024 Independence Day, he was found dead in his cell. His cause of death remains under review. For some, it felt like closure. For Michaela's mother, it felt like another stolen piece of justice. "Even his death denied us the sentence we deserved to hear," she said. Michaela Carter did everything she was told would keep her alive. She left. She reported. She testified. She got protection. She called for help. But systems don't save people. Enforcement does. And on that night, enforcement failed her completely. Her name now stands as a reminder. A protective order is only as strong as the people who choose to enforce it. Love is not supposed to hurt. Love is not supposed to control. Love is not supposed to be feared. And when it demands survival, it is no longer love, it is a warning. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We post new true crime cases every day, stories that deserve to be heard. See you in the next video.